Hi there. My name is Neville Eden. I'm a member of the Seniors Committee at Abergele Golf Club, and I've been involved in getting ready for the launch of the new World Handicap System. And I've produced these slides to help communicate the changes to members and anyone else that's interested, really. Just a word of caution. These general principles will be applicable throughout Wales, but if you do decide to share this information with other people, the arrangements are slightly different in England, Scotland, and Northern Ireland in terms of which systems, IT systems, people will be using. So let's crack on. I'm going to cover a bit of background, very little background, covering then your new handicap index, which is what it will be referred to going forward, what we need to do when we're playing golf, what to do differently, an example of how to use what are called the course handicap tables that will be displayed on the notice board on the first tee and at various other places around the course and the clubhouse. A little bit about competition handicap adjustments, and then also how to get more information and help. Okay, a bit of background. This has been emerging for, I don't know, at least 8 years. It's a new World Handicap System that basically includes the new rules of handicapping combined with this course rating system, which is being applied globally. So it's a completely global system to enable as many golfers as possible to obtain and maintain what's called a handicap index. You'll hear that a lot in this presentation. To use your handicap index on any golf course around the world, to compete or play recreationally with anyone else on a fair and equal basis, because we'll all be using the same means of calculating our handicap index. And it comes into force in Great Britain and Ireland on the 2nd of November 2020, which is almost upon us. And by the time you're watching this, it might have already passed. So moving on then to your new handicap index. So this is what we currently, I guess, refer to as our exact handicap that we normally look up on How Did I Do. So the new term for that is called your handicap index. It's going to be calculated like now to one decimal place, and it's going to be based on your best 8 qualifying rounds out of your last 20 recorded rounds. And every time you submit a new qualifying card, one of those 20 will drop out of the bottom of the list, and there'll be a new set of 20 and perhaps a new best 8 that will enable the system to keep your handicap index up to date. So the best 8 qualifying rounds from your last 20. If there aren't 20 rounds recorded in the system, that doesn't matter. You will still get a calculated handicap index as long as you've got more than 3 previous rounds recorded in the system. Obviously, it'll be more accurate the more rounds that you have got recorded, but don't worry, if you haven't got 20, you will still get a handicap index. It'll be calculated and maintained by software that's hosted by Wales Golf. And this is the difference that I was referring to earlier. Wales Golf are using, all of the nations have basically contracted with different service providers. So Wales Golf has contracted to do it, and that will be for all of the golf clubs in Wales that are members of Wales Golf, and Abergele is one such club. You'll get your handicap index either by logging on to Wales Golf website and going to what's called My Golf Profile, or from the new app that will be launched week commencing 19th of October. Our data has already been uploaded now to the system, so the system should have already calculated the handicap indexes for all of the Abergele Golf Club members. But from week commencing 19th of October, that's when we'll be able to log on and access our golf profile on the website or download the app and do it that way. And I'll show you a couple of dummy screenshots in a few minutes. We'll provide further details about how to access and register that account in due course. As I've already said, our playing handicap records have been uploaded automatically already, and that's included your email address and your date of birth, so that when we go to register on the site, it will be able to verify that we are who we say we are. And your handicap index going forwards is likely to change more frequently than it does now, and it'll change more than the just 0.1, for example. I often get frustrated. I go out and play several really bad rounds on Saturdays, and each time I come back home, I get an email to tell me that I've got an extra 0.1 of a shot. It's likely to change a bit more than 0.1 now, because it's going to more quickly reflect changes in your performance. And there's no buffer zone in the World Handicap System. There are some measures to stop your handicap from going up too quickly, but they're a bit more flexible than the current arrangement. So this is just a dummy screenshot from the My Golf profile on Wales Golf. So we'll all have a My Golf profile. This is where we'll be able to view our index. You can't see this screenshot very well, but you can see that there's an area there where you'll be able to look at your previous scores and track your scores. You'll be able to keep up to date on latest news, information, etc. within Wales Golf and Wales Golf Partners. And I think there's even going to be a bit of a kind of social media part of the profile. So you'll be able to have like friends, buddy up with people that you play with regularly, etc., and interact with them on there in a social media fashion. I'm afraid I don't have any more details about that at the moment. Alternatively, or you can do both, there will be a Wales Golf app that we will be able to download. And as I say, that should be from week commencing the 19th of October. And in the app, you'll be able to access your latest handicap index, the history, your progress, your score details, social networking, as I said, that will be available in there, interaction with Wales Golf in terms of events and opportunities, and they've got some future developments like a course handicap calculator, a little inbuilt rules widget, tee time booking facilities, and maybe scorecards, but they're all for the future. Okay, so moving on then, next I'm going to talk about when we turn up at the golf course, how we're going to get from the car to the tee and play golf. What are we going to have to do differently? Well, every course in the world and every set of tees on those courses, they're all different. So they've all been given what's called a slope rating to reflect those course differences. And therefore, when you play on different courses, your handicap will probably be different on every course you play. And by every course, I also mean every set of tees. So you will have a different handicap playing off the whites at Abergele than you will playing off the yellows or reds. So that's an important first point. Every set of tees, you'll have a different handicap. Now, to help us with that, the courses will display a set of tables to allow us to work out what our playing handicap or our course handicap is going to be off whichever tees we're playing, the white, yellow or red. So those will be going up at the notice board near the first tee at Abergele, and also be around the clubhouse, and when we're allowed to use them more fully, of course they'll be in the locker rooms, etc. So there'll be a set of tables, and I'll show you how to use those in a minute. You'll use those tables to look up where your handicap index falls for the tees that you're playing and read across them to get your course handicap. And I'll show you an example in the next slide. If you're in a competition, there's going to be a further percentage adjustment to give you your playing handicap on the day. That's similar to now, but there are some changes which I'll come on to shortly as well. Basically then, enjoy your round, and then remember at the end, submit your card or enter your results to allow the system to recalculate your new handicap index, and then check the system before you play next time so you know what your latest handicap index is. There is in the background that we don't really need to know the details about, but there is still an adjustment for weather conditions and playing conditions, so that if it's been a really bad day for the competition and everybody's scores are a little bit lower, that will be automatically taken account of in the calculation of your handicap index. Similarly, if it's been an absolute belter of a day and everyone's played a lot better, then that will be taken into account in the background. So to summarize that before I move on to show you how to use the tables, we look up our handicap index, look it up on the app or online. If you forget to look it up and you don't know what it is, then you should be able to get that from the clubhouse as well. Work out what your course handicap is by looking on the chart, which I'll show you in a moment. Any adjustments for the competition and a percentage adjustment, so you would then apply that. Then thankfully we can then get on with the game, play golf, and then when we've finished, input our score as soon as possible. The recalculation of your handicap index will be done overnight, so it's important really to try and get your score in on the day that you play. If however you don't worry too much. It will still get calculated overnight on the day that you've entered it, and because you're putting in the date of when you entered, when you played, it will also apply the weather conditions adjustment in the same way. So now I'm going to show you how to use the new handicap tables. Over on the right of your screen now, it's not very big, not intended for you to be able to read the whole thing, but obviously the ones on the notice board will be much bigger. There's a handicap table, and it goes right up to handicap indexes of up to 54, because remember, under the new arrangements, the maximum golf handicap now is going to be 54. And you can see that we've got 3 tables, one for white tees, one for yellow tees, and one for red tees. Now, I'm going to talk about an example of a player who's got a handicap index of 21.2. So he's gone online to Wales Golf, or he's used the app, and he's got his latest handicap index, and he knows it's 21.2. So from that table, I've enlarged here the rows that we need to look at. And you can see that 21.2 sits in this area here for the white tees. So it sits in this range 20.6 to 21.4. So if he was playing off the white tees with a handicap index of 21.2, his course handicap would be 23 off the whites at Abergele. If, however, he was going to be playing off the yellow or red tees, which actually, coincidentally for Abergele, they've both got the same slope rating, so the handicaps are the same. The 21.2 now falls in this range, 20.5 to 21.3. And we can see that that would mean that they would have a handicap of 22 off the yellow or reds. So that's a course handicap of 22 off the yellows or reds, or 23 off the whites. So just to summarise that again, a player with a handicap index of 21.2 would have a course handicap of 23 off the whites, or 22 off the yellow or red tees. But remember, this is only for Abergele. If you play at other courses, or when you play at other courses, they will have a similar table. You look up where your handicap index lies on the tees that you're intending to play. Okay, hope everyone's got that. I mentioned earlier about handicap adjustments. Just like the current arrangements, there are certain percentage adjustments that are required for certain competition formats. You'll find that out when you turn up to register to play. They would normally, tell you, right, you're going to be playing off, 90% or 80% or whatever. But in the new World Handicapping System, the Saturday competitions that are single stroke play, for example, and the seniors competitions, and I don't know what formats the ladies play, but single stroke play and single Stableford competitions, there will be a requirement to adjust our handicaps so that we're only playing off 95% of our course handicap. So taking the course handicap that we just looked at on the previous slide, 23 that we worked out for the white tees, we would be doing 23 times 0.95 is equal to 21.85, and that would be rounded up because it's bigger than 21.5. It would be rounded up to 22, so the playing handicap would be 22. So that's the steps. Look it up on the table, apply this 95% adjustment if it's single stroke play in Stableford, and that then ends up giving you what you're going to be playing off, which for this player off 21.2 handicap index, they end up off 22 off the white tees. I don't even know what a lot of these formats are, but this is the table out of the new World Handicapping rules. Shows you which type of round, which format you're playing, and what the handicap adjustment needs to be for that particular format. It says recommended there, but on a recent seminar led by Wales Golf, I was told that it's not a recommendation, it's now basically part of the handicapping rules. So single stroke play and single Stableford competitions, you'll have to take 95% of your course handicap before you go out to play. So just to summarise with that chart again, know what your handicap index is by looking it up either online at Wales Golf or using the app, or finding out what it is from the office or the pro shop. I think we'll hopefully be able to look it up for you if you can't get it any other way. Work out what your course handicap is using those tables that I showed you with the white, yellow and red different tables. Adjust it for the competition format if that's appropriate. So 95% for single stroke play in Stableford. Get out there and enjoy your game, play the golf, and then at the end make sure your score again properly validated scorecard, and enter your score into the system or hand your card in to be entered by others into the system, and that will result in a recalculation of your handicap index, which you can then look up before you go out to play on the next occasion. And remember, this all goes into force or comes into force on Monday, the 2nd of November. I'm sure we're going to have lots of fun and a bit of confusion that we'll get through, no problem, I'm sure, because I'll be playing on Monday, the 2nd of November, hopefully in a seniors match, and I'll be there hopefully to help colleagues navigate their system, navigate themselves for their first round under the new World Handicapping System. If you want to get more information or help, there are more resources about the World Handicap System on the Wales Golf website. There are some little sort of what they call educational videos, little animated videos that explain different aspects. I've set up a WhatsApp group focused on answering questions about the World Handicap System for Abergele Golf Club. And if you're a member of Abergele Golf Club and contact me, then I can add you to that. Or you can email me at that email address, neville.eden@gmail.com. Or if you know me, ask me at the club if you see me. I've put my photograph there so that if you don't know me already, you know what I look like. I'm quite happy to help anybody in any way I can, and I hope that this has been helpful for you. So, comes into force on Monday, the 2nd of November. We need to go and look at Wales Golf and get our golf profile there. We need to know what our handicap index is, use the tables, apply any competition adjustments, get out and play, and then hand our card in or enter our scores at the end of the round. Hope to see you out on the course sometime soon, and I hope you're keeping well through all this pandemic. And that's it from me for now. Thanks a lot. Bye.